Hey guys, welcome back to Urban Yogi TV. My name is Rukmini Bontala and I'm the founder of urbanyogi.ug. We are a place, one-stop solution for all health and wellness needs in Uganda. So welcome back to another session. Today, as I promised, I wanted to share a little more about my story of how I got into this health and wellness field and give you a little more information about why I'm so passionate about this and serving people in this manner. So I moved to Uganda when I was a really young kid, and I've been living here for about 25 years now. And when I first moved here, I was suffering from a lot of health issues, starting with bronchitis, which then turned into chronic asthma. And it was so debilitating that I had to really restrict the foods that I would be eating or even the exercises that I was able to do. I wasn't able to walk long distances or exert myself pretty much in any way. So this was something I struggled with for many years. And then as I grew older and entered my teenagehood, I also had other hormonal based health issues. So whenever I was in my menstrual cycle, I would suffer from extremely excruciating pain where I would have to sometimes be put on really strong painkillers, and then also had other hormonal health issues such as cystic acne and other stuff. So these were things that I was living with, and I didn't really think much about it. I thought, okay, it's just part of being human. You know, some people have health issues, some people don't, and each person has different issues. But it wasn't something that I paid attention to or thought of doing something about. So then I went into my master's degree and my bachelor's degree. I moved to the States and I did my bachelor's in elementary education to become a primary teacher. And then I was doing my master's degree to become a business professional, business administration. And it wasn't until my master's degree, I was about to complete it, that my life took a complete turn. I had about 6 months left to complete my master's degree when I was diagnosed with a health issue called ulcerative colitis. So this was a condition where I had ulcers all over my colon and I was bleeding a lot, losing weight, and severely anemic and in just a very bad place overall. So before I was diagnosed, I went to several doctors to try and see if they could figure out what the issue was. I had actually gone to them because I had a very bad skin issue. So they just kept putting me on antibiotic after antibiotic. So I think I went through about 3 to 4 rounds of antibiotics and nothing was really helping me, because obviously that wasn't the solution to my problem, which I found out later. So I had to basically take time off university. I had to break in the middle of my semester, completely cut it off, and said that I needed to come home to Uganda and really see what I needed to do. So once I came back home to Uganda, I then went to other doctors here and all of them checked me, and then we figured out that yes, it is ulcerative colitis, but then it needed a little more research to determine that that is the condition. So then I moved to India, and after doing a colonoscopy and those sorts of things, they determined that yes, it is ulcerative colitis. So that was the great part, because finally there was a diagnosis and we could figure out how to move forward. So after I was given that diagnosis, I had two options basically. The number one was that I needed to get on steroids for a period of at least 6 months, if not longer. So I had a negative association to steroids just because of my previous history of hearing about people who've taken steroids and the negative side effects it had. And the second option that I had was that I could try an alternative route, which probably may not have any guarantees. The doctor that I went to see strongly recommended that I had to get on the steroids, but I believe that the fear that I had of the negative side effects of steroids completely steered me away from it, and I decided to move into finding an alternative solution. So I came across Ayurveda, which is one of the natural healing modalities, and I decided to see and test if this would be able to help me. So almost 2 months after having severe health issues and struggling and seeing several doctors, I went to an Ayurvedic retreat to get my treatment. As soon as I enrolled there, they put me on a very strict diet and a lifestyle program without really much medication at all. I wasn't taking any pills or anything of that sort. They just said that the diet and the lifestyle is going to heal you. So just by getting on a lifestyle program, within 4 days my bleeding completely stopped. But I had to leave because they didn't have enough space in the place. So when I left, I ended up having a relapse instantaneously. So I ended up going back, and I spent a good 1 month in the center trying to heal this once and for all, no excuses. So I went and I did that, and as soon as the 1 month was up, the doctor told me very strictly that you have to follow a very specific routine if you want to make sure that this doesn't relapse. And I was ready to do literally anything by that point, because when I first found out I had ulcerative colitis and started doing research on Mr. Google, I started coming across so many scary things that can happen. Everything from, being on steroids permanently to people who've had their colon removed and had a sac put to collect whatever they're eating. So being a 23-year-old, that freaked me out like nothing else. So I was ready to do anything, and so this was what I did. So for a whole year, I stuck to a very good routine in terms of the lifestyle practices. I ate really healthy, I slept on time, and I followed everything that the Ayurvedic doctor told me. And now it has been 7 years since I had the health issue, and I've never had a relapse. Now the funny thing is, when you end up with a health issue or a disease, it just so happens that you meet a lot of people who've had the same issue as you. So before I got sick, I had no clue what ulcerative colitis was, but as soon as I got sick and overcame it, I met so many people who had ulcerative colitis, but majority of the people had actually gone the normal route of taking steroids, and I saw the difference in our energies. Some of them, yes, while they're on the steroids, the disease is not there. The moment they get off it and they get back to their lifestyle habits, it instantly relapses, and it usually gets worse and worse and worse. So I was very, very thankful for the fact that I was able to find Ayurveda. So this was really, I guess, the turning point in my life. So after I was able to recover and get better, not only did my energy improve, my skin improve, my hormonal issues improve, it was like a complete transformation of my life with just 1 month of lifestyle and diet-based treatment. So this was very, very intriguing for me. However, I was happy with the fact that I had recovered, and I decided to go back to the States, complete my master's degree, and then move back to Uganda. So I did that, I came back, and I started working in a business. I was working as an HR manager for quite a long time. And while I was doing this, I just kept learning more about health and wellness, just because I didn't ever want to go back to that place where I had ulcerative colitis or where I felt weak and unable to do the things that I wanted to do in my life. So as I continued learning more about this, I started sharing more on a very impersonal basis. I would just share with people who had health issues and say, oh, I've read this, why don't you try it out, and inspire them. But I noticed that because I didn't really have a qualification, people started to really question or not really take what I was saying very seriously. They always said, we're going to go to our doctor and listen to it. And I suggest that you do that, especially if you feel like they're able to support you. But I decided that I wanted to go get qualified and be an authority and share with people alternative solutions that sincerely do exist and are possible for each and every person if you decide to make that extra effort and put in place, a couple of simple practices. So in 2014, I did my very first certification, which was to become a raw food chef. So right after I did that, I found that there was an institute which I could do, education and qualification to become a health and wellness coach. So immediately I enrolled in that and I became a health and wellness coach. And over the past, I would say about 4 years, over the past 3-4 years, I have been studying continuously. So from being a raw food chef and then to a health and wellness coach, I became a detox specialist and a yoga teacher, and right now I'm still studying in my 3-year program to become a hormone specialist. So I think I just have a drive, especially in this area of health and wellness. And so I've been helping a lot of people for the past 4 years try and improve their health and wellness by sharing from my knowledge and experience and my expertise. So this is really why I'm so passionate about this, because I went through my own health issues, and I really want to be able to help people overcome some of the things that they're having through using diet and lifestyle practices rather than just depending on a prescription medication which you may end up being on for the rest of your life. So if there are alternative solutions, why not try them before you end up giving up and saying, I'll just stick to what has been prescribed. Let's look for solutions. Let's look for long-term fixes rather than just temporary or short-term fixes. And we can live a healthier life without having to deal with the side effects of all the medications. So I hope my story has inspired you and also been able to share a little bit about why I am here to do the work that I wanted to. If you like what we're sharing, please go ahead and subscribe to our channels, YouTube, and also like us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We're really active there. And also look out for the next episode of the TV series where we will be sharing the 5 top health documentaries that really inspired me and propelled me on this health and wellness journey over the past 4 or 5 years. So I look forward to sharing that information with you. All the best.